They need to have a tefach of width in order to say Chavayit Rami. That's like his main crux. Now, where do I get the concept of Chavayit Rami? Could be it's Nichal in there, but the part he's really focusing on is where do I know from there has to be a tefach. He says, when there is a tefach, we say Chavayit Rami, throw it down and pretend that the beams are all the way on the bottom. If you don't have the tefach, we do not say it. It's not a mission always. You have the beams of a house, the lower floor is the house. Valiyah is the second story, and Shein Aleim Haziva, they don't have any plaster, they're not finished. They mechuvanas and they're aligned. The halacha is Tumah Tachas Achas men, if you have Tumah underneath one of the lower beams on the first floor, on the ground floor, Tachteha Tameh, only what's under that beam is Tameh, because it's an oil, and it'll transfer the Tumah all along the length of that beam. If let's say the Tumah is between the lower beam and the upper beam, then Beinehen Tameh, what's between them is Tameh. Al Gabi if it's on the top, then connect the Ad L'Rakiya opposite up to the sky, Tameh, it's going to be Tameh. Those are all cases when the beams are totally aligned. But let's say the upper beams are between the spaces of the lower beams. Tumah Tachte, and then if Tumah is underneath on the first floor, Tachas Kulon Tameh, the entire first floor, any kli there is going to be Tameh. Al Gabein, but if the Tumah is above somewhere, then connect the Ad L'Rakiya opposite up to the sky is going to be Tameh, but everything else in the house is not going to be. The Tanya Law, Brisa was said on it. And when was these words of the Mishnah said? Bizman sheish ben tefach, when the beams on top are tefach. Ubeinehem b'seir tefach, and between the lower beams is a tefach of space for the tefach upper beams to come down. Avo ein beinehem b'seir tefach, but if you don't have a gap between them of a tefach, and that means as well that the upper beams are not a tefach, so you don't have the tefach of space, and you don't have the tefach of the upper beams being a tefach. Tumah tachas achas man, if you have tumah underneath one of them on the lowest floor anywhere, tachteha tameh, only under what that beam is going to be tameh, because those ones are tefach, but the upper beams are not. Beineim v'al gabein tar, but anywhere around the house, the kli is going to be tar. That is the Mishnah, the Brisa on the Mishnah. And the Gemara says, Alma comes out from here, kiyas beitach, when you have a tefach, amrinan chavayit rami, we do say that you put down the beams, kilu, all the way on the bottom. The chiles beitach, and if you don't have the tefach, you do not say it. Shema Mina. That's a ride from the mission always. And we're up to Yosef Rav Kahana. So what we've established so far is that we have this sukkah in the Mishnah called the sukkah Hamiduvlelas, which according to Shmuel means kana oila, kana yorid. Rava said that whole concept only works if it's within 3 tvachim, because then it's like love it, and you can like sort of bring it down. That's what Rava said. Abaya said that. And Rava said, no, even if it's more than 3 tvachim, even if it's more, as long as it has a tefach, it has a chashivas, and there's a gap underneath where it could slide down into, you pretend as if all the slats come down and totally close it up. And that's how you have a kosher sukkah. Where do I know it from? That you need to have a tefach? From this mission always. That's his proof. So that is so far what we got. Comes along, and the Gemara says like this. Yosef Rav Kahana. Rav Kahana was sitting. V'ka'amar lahashmaita. And he was saying over lahashmaita, this Gemara, this memra of who? Of Rava. He was giving a shir like what we're doing right now. Right now. He was giving a shir saying over Rava's Geshmak Arai from always, that if you have a tefach, then it works. But if you don't have a tefach, it's not going to work. Amrli Rav Ashi Rav Kahana. Rav Ashi said to Rav Kahana after he had heard the whole shir and the whole raya, he asked, "V'chol heicha delespe tefach." You're telling me that anywhere you don't have a tefach, lo yamrinan chavayit rami, we don't say that you can bring down the lower beams and pretend they're there. You need to have a tefach, and if you don't, it doesn't work. That's not true. That's not true. V'atanya, we learned in the Brisa. To understand this Brisa, a little bit of a background. The sugi of Erevin, I'm sure a lot of you know it, but just the basics of what this Bryce is talking about. Even though this is not our picture, if you could turn to the picture in the back, not in our Gemara, I have a better picture to use just for this initial explanation of the Bryce, and that is on page Aleph, the first page of the pictures. Page Aleph of the pictures, picture number Zayin. bottom right corner. The way it used to work back in the days, your standard homes, how they looked, was that there were homes that opened into a courtyard. If you look on the sides, you see they have these homes, and there's like a local courtyard. And then the courtyard would open into an alley, and now it's that thing in the middle. It's called a mavli. So you have these houses that shared a chutzner. Here you have two per chutzner, if you look over there on the sides. And they share a door out into this alleyway, which is called the mavli. And the mavli opens up, the black area that you see on the bottom of the picture was the Rosh Hashanah. And that's how everyone lived. That was the general, when Mishnayos and Gemara's talking about it, that's how developments, not in Lakewood, but developments in the times of Mishnah. Now, some mavlis, if you look at it, some mavlis, you see that back wall, that means it's only a one-way in. You can only come out into the black area to the Rosh Hashanah, but you can't go, it's a one-way street. It's a dead end. You can't go past there. However, some mavlis are open. They're completely open, and they go right through to like either another Rosh Hashanah, depends on the mavli. It's either called a mavli sasum or a mavli mefulish. Sasum means it's closed on one side. Mefulish means it's an open alley to go either way. This alleyway that we're looking at on page Aleph, picture Zion, really you could carry in the whole place. It's a Rosh Hashanah. Until you get to that black area, you're not in a Rosh Hashanah. However, Chazal said that because either it looks like a Rosh Hashanah, and for other reasons, you need an Erev, and that's why even those Chatzeris need an Erev, whatever an Erev means. But even the Mavli in the middle, you're not allowed to carry there. You're not allowed to carry there. Why? Just to make it simple, because you might come to carry in the Rosh Hashanah. Even though it's a private area, you might come to carry in the Rosh Hashanah, and therefore Chazal said we need a reminder, a hecker, some sort of mechitza or reminder to show me that you shouldn't go past this Mavli. You see that lechi? They have a lechi there, like a side post on the wall. That is one way to show not to go past that point. The other way to do it is in picture Ches, on the left of it, there's a korah, a beam lying across the top. Those are two ways to show, don't go past here, Ad Kan Erev. I was driving today on Route 9, this huge sign, I don't know whose agenda this is over here. It's like, did you empty your pockets? Like screaming sign, like stop. You might have something in your pockets, and Route 9 doesn't have an Erev. So,
the BMG are mad at the Hasidim in Erev.
Okay. So I'll upon them. I said about it, I didn't realize. So be careful. This kaira and this lechi are screaming to you, don't go past here. Okay? Don't go past. So that's a general information about an Erev. Now let's go to our brisa. If you could turn to our cases, page Lamed Aleph in the pictures. Page Lamed Aleph. And it's picture Chavtes. Picture Chavtes. I'm going to read it under the caption. We'll come back to the brisa, but the caption has a lot of the words. This is a case of a kaira beam. Hayetze mikaisel zeh. It's coming out of one side of the wall. The ena negas v'kaisel zeh. It's not reaching the other side. If you see, it's missing by about 2.9 tvachim. Okay, that's how much you're missing over there. The halacha is, it says etc. We'll see more of the brisa inside. But the halacha is, pachas mishloisha, if you're within 3 tvachim, which it is, it's 2.9, einay tzarech lavi kaira acheres. You don't need another beam. That works. That's fine, because you're within 3 tvachim, and it's lavud. Lavud, we look at it like it's sasam, it's closed. And we do use lavud here. We do use it here. And therefore, your kaira is good. Look at the next picture, Lamed, a very similar case. V'chein shtei kairos. You have 2 beams here. Achas yetzim mikaisel zeh. One's coming out of one side of the wall. V'achas yetzim mikaisel zeh. One's coming from the other side of the wall. V'eina noiga zubazuba. They're not touching. So the halach is the same thing. Pachas mishleisha. If you're within 3 tvachim, einay tzarech lahavi kairacheres. You do not need to bring another beam because again we're looking like it's lavud, and this will allow you to carry in the alleyway in the mavli. Okay, that's the basic brisa. We're going to jump back to the pictures because there's a few more cases, but let's see the brisa now. We're going to have a very long brisa, about the stuff to come out with the raya against Rava that you don't need there to be a tefach. But it's a very long raya, so you just have to relax, enjoy the cases, live the Erev and Sugya for a little bit, and we'll be good. So the Gemara says like this: V'atanya, we learned in the Brayso, Kaira, you have a beam. Hayotza mikaisel zeh. You have this beam that's coming out of one side of the kaisel. Ve'ena negas b'kaisel zeh, but it's not reaching the other wall. V'chein, similarly, a very similar type of case. Shtei kairos, you have two beams. Achas yotza mikaisel zeh. One beam is coming out of one wall. V'achas yotza mikaisel zeh. One's coming out of the other wall. Ve'ena noiga zu b'zu, but they're not touching each other in the middle. They're missing. They're missing a piece there. The halacha is like this. Pachas mishloisha, if it's less than 3 means tvachim. Einay tzarech lahavi kara acheres. You do not need to bring another beam. It's okay. We look at it like it's closed. Shloisha, but if the gap is 3 or more tvachim, tzarech lahavi kara acheres. You need to bring another beam. That is the first Tana Shita. Lavid is 3 tvachim. Anything less than 3. What?
How do you call love to the Rabban? Love is it malach mezuzina?
So I guess it applies even by a din d'Rabbanan. You're right, it applies. Because we're trying to sort of make a mechitza with this kaira. It's not a real mechitza.
How do you apply to something that Rabbanan?
Because if it applies to deraisa, then it should apply to Rabbanan as well. And especially, this is not a real mechitza, so it's even more chilled. So it's even easier to...
It's not really a problem.
Right.
Why would it make that mean? I'm saying Love tells me that anything with next to 3 means that the gap is closed. It's not like home certain places.
Could be in a hecker. Maybe in din d'Rabbanan, I want you to have a real hecker. I can't use this lumdisha, just using the bingo like strings. Right, so you need a official on curse. So maybe who says, you could use love it, but no, I think you could. And that's what we're saying here. Oh, so it's only under 2.9 tvachim. Comes longer B'Shem Gamliel. B'Shem Gamliel Omer, he says, this is very interesting by the way. He says, I don't know if this is well known, Pachis me arba'a. If it's less than 4 tvachim, ain't sarach lavi kara acheres. You don't need to bring another beam. Arba'a, but if it's already 4 tvachim gap, then sarach lavi kara acheres. You need to bring another beam. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel is the famous shita. I mean, it's famous. It's not so well known, but I tell you, not many people know about it. It's one of these things. It's good to say famous because then you're like, what? I didn't know about that. He holds the Lavid is up to 4 tvachim. Okay? He's up to 4 tvachim. It's very famous. Yeah, because it makes everyone else feel bad. So it's very geschmack. You might not know it's a very famous thing. So it's like, oh man, it's a good trick. When I went to rabbi school, it's like the number one thing to say. So he holds Lavid 4 tvachim. Now officially there's a rule. There's a Rambam. How can you have an argument about Lachal Moshe and Sinai? These things are like solid. From Moshe, from Sinai, from Hashem, down to Rabbanim. How can you argue? This is not a simple question. How to deal with this? But here we seem to have a machlokes about Lachal Moshe and Sinai. When do you say love it? So Rishon Gamliel says, even up to 4, you're going to say love it.
What's so schwer? Parshal al-Peh, the machlokes in all 3 shafts, every single case sugi of machlokes. It was originally told to Moshe clear.
Yeah.
Hashem told Moshe told, so it got lost somewhere. Some Shimon also,
So you have to look at the Rambam in Zagdama to Pirush and Mishais. He goes through all the different like ways and limudim, and he has a rule. The Lachal Moshe Sinai that cannot be. I don't know, somehow something about them. The fact that we even know it to be a Lachal Moshe Sinai makes it like it's not.
very famous Hakami.
Yeah, it is a very famous. I know that.
We're fighting about the Mazbeh. It's a crazy thing.
Right. So there's always machlokes about things in general, but if it's a Lachal Moshe Sinai, it's much harder. Much harder.
Fill-in orders.
Yeah. It's machlokes about everything. Machlokes about everything. It's machlokes about the Erev. It's always machlokes.
No, it's interesting. Sometimes like things that like one of your fathers do. Like,
Right. So this is a long conversation. Yes, yeah. I don't know why only here he says it, but it's everywhere. Yeah. Okay, moving along to the next case. Let's go to the pictures. Head to the pictures. We're on page Lamed Aleph. Okay, Lamed Aleph. This is an interesting case. Bottom right of the page, picture Lamed Aleph. Oh, it's page Lamed Aleph, picture Lamed Aleph. Okay, this is huge. Yeah. By the way, I used to know get off at Squonkin when I was single. I moved to Lakewood. What exit is for Squonkin? They say Loimet Aleph. 31A. I was like, Loimet Aleph.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like the first time.
V'chein shtei kairos hamatimos. You have twin beams. Okay, mazel tov. They're twin beams. Loi bezu kedei lekabel ariach, v'loi bezu kedei lekabel ariach. Another rule about this beam. There's another rule. In order for it to be a hecker, it has to be a nice size. It has to have the width of a tefach. Now, the way Chazal call it, you have to be able to hold a brick called an ariach. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. If you turn the page, hold back the last page, but look at the next page for a second. Picture Lamed Gimel. You have two bricks. You have the ariach and you have the levena. Levena is your standard full brick. It's 3 by 3 tvachim. While the ariach is 3 tvachim long, its length 1.5 width. Okay? It's called the ariach. You need your koira in order to patter up the mavoi and be used as a mechitza. It has to be able to hold, has to have the thickness that it could hold an ariach, a 1.5 tefach width brick.
Overhang a little bit.
Oh, very good. If it's 1.5, so why would a 1 tefach beam be big enough? You need it to be longer. So it means it can hold a brick if you put it on and put a little cement on the sides. If you put it, because only an etzba is only 0.25 and a quarter, thank you. Quarter and a quarter extra gap that the brick is extending over the beam. You put some like tar or some, whatever it is, some mud that would keep it, heavy brick things, and it would keep it in place, so that's good enough. It would stay on. That's how thick a kir has to be. But in this case, jumping back to the picture Lamed Aleph, you have the beams here, the twins, each one's only half a tefach. Only half a tefach each one. So I'm just reading the caption. You have two twin beams. This one's not able to accept, to hold the half brick, the ariach. It's not enough, it's only half a tefach. And the other beam also does not have the capacity to hold the half brick because it's not wide enough. So the halacha is, if they could accept, if they could hold the ariach, the half brick, in its width, 1.5 tefachim width, tefach. If it has enough in the width of it that could accept the ariach, ein sarich lahavi keracheres. You do not need to bring another beam. So you could take two beams if they're right next to each other. One's a half a tefach, one's a half tefach. You could take all together. You have a full tefach, and that could hold the ariach. That's also good. Oh, bomb kasha. You're on fire today also. Bomb. It sounds like from Rashi, big machlokes, that in order for this kaira, this double kaira to work, the twins, they have to be next to each other. There can't be a space, according to the Tanakama. We'll get to Rosh Hashanah in a second, he argues. But according to the Tanakama, they have to be close. And because of that, you need them to be a half a tefach each to be able to hold a tefach of a brick. But look at the picture on the left. Vimlav, picture Lamed Beis, if they don't have that thickness, they're both a quarter of a tefach each, it's tiny. Tzarech lahavi keracheres, you're going to need another brick. Okay, so those are the next two cases of the Brisa. I'll just read them inside. Another beam. Thank you, another beam. Just reading it back inside Chav Beis and Beis in the Gemara. Third line, right at the beginning. V'chein. So too, shtei kairos amatimais. You have two beams that are twins. Loi bezu kedei l'kabel ariach. This one is not kedei, doesn't have enough l'kabel to accept, to hold an ariach, a half brick. V'loi bezu kedei l'kabel ariach. And the other beam does not have enough width to hold the width of a ariach, a half brick. The halacha is, in the kablis ariach l'rach be'tevach, if both of them mekablois now, in mekablois, if both of them are able to accept the and hold the half brick l'rach using their width, using the width of the half brick tefach, they do have the tefach altogether to hold the brick. Ein sarich lavi keracheres, you do not need to bring another beam. But if not, sarich lavi keracheres, you need to bring another beam. We'll have to see B'Shimon Gamliel's shita next time. He argues on this. What? Using both beams, they would. You don't actually have to put a brick there, but it has the capacity that would be able to hold a brick using both beams together. Both beams.